Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and bring the meeting to order for the Washoe County Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting for Tuesday, September 1st. Can we start with roll call, please?
Yes, Stephanie Chen.
Here.
Jennifer Oliver, absent. Heidi Anderson.
Here.
Doug Doolittle. Here. Thomas Gwynn is absent. Darla Lee.
Here.
Chris Nenzel.
Here.
Greg Shorts will be joining the meeting a little bit late. So we have
Thank you. Perfect. Doug or Darla, would you like to lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Do we have any public comments?
We have no public comment.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4, approval of the agenda for the Open Space and Regional Park Commission meeting of September 1st.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Next item. Item 5, approval of the minutes for the Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting of August 4th, 2020. Any questions or discussion? Okay, can we get a motion?
I'll move to approve. This is Heidi Anderson.
Chris Denzel, second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to item 6, acknowledgement and recognition of park operations staff for their outstanding service and contribution to Washoe County.
Good afternoon. For the record, Colleen Wallace Barnum, and I have an exciting day today. I was really looking forward to this. I was hoping we could do this in person. Eric and I both were. But seeing that Zoom is going to be the only platform we have to acknowledge our employees, we're going to go ahead and do that today. And I'm proud to say that we have 145 years of service to recognize today, which is pretty amazing, through 7 different employees. So I'd like to get started, and I'm going to start with the employee, and her name is Samantha. Samantha, I need to see your face. So everybody needs to see Samantha. There she is. Okay, so Samantha is, she's our recreation coordinator. She works out of the May Museum. Samantha is getting her certificate today for 5 years of continuous service, which I think is exciting, 5 years, because you become a vested employee with Washoe County. So it's actually a really fun time to be 5 years. And you're like new employee, sort of, you're excited, you know, it's a good time. So anyway, congratulations, Samantha. A couple of things about Samantha, so you guys all know. She's actually started with the county back in 2010 as a volunteer. She volunteered, and then she moved on to become a seasonal employee for a season, and then she was hired as a contract employee for 3 years before finally becoming full-time with Washoe County. So a lot of people start volunteering seasonally. It's neat to see that interest really take hold, and then the people become full-time employees. Samantha has some strong skills in marketing and takes care of the collection really well, and just does a great job at the museum. A lot of the smaller exhibits that we do, the different art groups that come in, she handles a lot of those different things. So thank you, Samantha, for all of your hard work, and we hope you have many more years with Washoe County. Okay. All right, next employee, and I provided Samantha a couple of other employees. I was able to give them their certificates today. The next employee I'd like to recognize is Gregorio. Gregorio, can you say hi?
Hi, thanks, Mom.
Hi, Gregorio. Gregorio is one of our park maintenance workers, and he works out of, currently he works out of the shop at North Valleys, but he started in 2005 in the South shop. So he actually worked out of the South for a couple years, but he has spent the majority of his years up at the North shop, and he primarily maintains the parks like in the Spanish Springs area, so Lazy Five, Desert Winds, Eagle Canyon, Gator Swamp. So he takes really good care of those parks. And congratulations, Gregorio, on your 15 years. If you ever meet Gregorio, you will see a smile on his face. He's a happy guy, and he's always smiling. So thank you, Gregorio, for all your time. Okay. Next employee to recognize is Braden Franklin. Braden has been working for Washoe County now. This is his 15-year certificate, which is pretty awesome. He started actually as a seasonal employee as well. He worked for 2 years as a park aid ranger, and then for a few years as a park aid maintenance worker, both with, he was telling me today, both with the Arboretum, and then also, was it in the at Rancho that you were also a seasonal?
Yeah, I was a seasonal Rancho, worked on the baseball fields,
Yep.
and then did the park ranger thing too.
Great. So he landed on a park maintenance worker. He was hired as a park maintenance worker, and he spent some time down at the South shop area, and then he has transitioned, and he's been at the Arboretum full time for the last 4 years, and he is a certified arborist. So if you have any tree questions, you can ask Braden. But we actually became certified arborists together, so that was fun. We got to do that together. So thank you, Braden, and congratulations on your 15 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next employee is Paul Bruner. So Paul, can we see your face? There he is. Hey, Paul.
Hello.
Paul is our equipment mechanic, and Paul works out of Rancho San Rafael Park. Paul is getting his 15-year certificate today, and I was able to hand deliver that to him this afternoon. So Paul actually started at Washoe Golf Course, and he was there for about, I think we said about 12 years. And then he moved on to Rancho San Rafael Park. So he's based out of the central shop, and he's the ground equipment mechanic. Now he and I think 2 years ago, we went through every shop and every piece of equipment that we had. And I was so impressed with his knowledge base. I mean, he could tell you the piece of equipment and the year it was, and he helped create our a budget that we have now for our medium equipment, which is pretty impressive. So, so Paul, thank you for all of your hard work and for your 15 years of service.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next employee I wanted to recognize is Jen Conlon. So Jen, you were in that video. There you are. Hi, Jen. So Jen gets her 20 years today. Congratulations. So Jen actually started at Sierra Sage Golf Course, and she worked as were you a mechanic? You were a mechanic, were you not?
I did that for a little bit there.
Okay. She was a mechanic, and then she's done grounds, maintenance worker. She moved into parks and found that she loved parks. She was in the South region for 4 years, and then she came to Rancho San Rafael Park, which is her true love. So she's been at Rancho for the last 8 years. So all of the amazing turf that we have out there, all the trees, everything that's at Rancho, not in the Arboretum, is Jen's responsibility, and she does a tremendous job. Has a lot of dedication, and she's really good with the special event groups, which you pretty much have to be if you're working at Rancho, because that's where all the special events take place. So thank you, Jen, and congratulations on your 20 years.
Thank you.
Yeah. I will be by to bring you your certificate. And then let's see, I have Christy, and I know she's there. There she is. Christy lied. She is our curator at the May Museum. And Christy has 35 years of continuous service with Washoe County, which is amazing. Yeah. So Christy actually started with Washoe County back in 1985 as a park planner. She was a park planner for 3 years. And then she moved on, like the vast majority of her experience. If anybody knows Christy, they know Christy from the museum. At one time, she was a superintendent and she oversaw the museum, the Arboretum, and the Great Basin Adventure. And then she transitioned to just overseeing the museum. And if you want to know anything about the May Museum or any of the May Center history, she's got it. She's pretty much worked there the entire time that's been in operation at Rancho San Rafael Park. So, and Christy is, one of the great things about Christy is she's so extremely accommodating to anybody who comes in that museum, whether it's a member of the public or they're coming for a wedding or they're coming to one of the exhibits. She does a great job. She's put together the traveling exhibits now for many, many years and just does a wonderful job. So Christy, congratulations on 35 years with Washoe County.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Good. I'm glad you can say
Greg
that.
Shorts. Just wanted to let you know I'm here.
Okay. And then last but not least is Joe Parati. Joe, can you wave? There's Joe. Okay, so Christy, you didn't think anybody would actually beat you, but Joe Parati today, Joe, I am so proud to tell you that you your 40-year certificate for 40 years of continuous service with Washoe County. And I don't know how you do it. I'm totally impressed that you get up and still come to work and still do what you do every day. I'm going to call you the living legend because really it's impressive. You've been around way longer than I have. So I think you have a lot more stories than I do. Some you may not want to tell. But I will tell you, I did get a little bit of history on you. Joe actually started as a seasonal employee at Sierra Sage Golf Course. And then you worked at a rancho, right? Were you out of the central shop with John Gamble up there and working on the ball fields? Yeah. And then Joe, basically Joe has worked on, I think, every ball field that we have in any one of our Washoe County parks and has probably worked at every single park that we have in Washoe County. And he is currently out of the North maintenance shop. And so he takes care of all the fields in the North. And there's a lot of fields in the North. We have, huge complexes, both at North Valleys, at Eagle Canyon, at Lazy Five. And he takes care of all of them, does a great job for all the leagues that use our fields. And I'm just super proud to say that all of the people before you, you're just incredibly dedicated. And thank you so much for all of the years that you've been here and just showing up and doing a great job for Washoe County. You're welcome. You're welcome. And so it's my privilege and my honor to be able to, many of these people were here long before me, and just to be able to recognize them in front of all of you and just to be able to show how much dedication our employees really do have for the department. So thank you all.
If I could, it was really my great privilege to work with each and every one of you, and the amount of work that you've put in with the county in the park system has been absolutely tremendous, and your growth has been outstanding. And I applaud all your efforts. I really do. I wish that you were here in person so I could shake your hand, but keep on with the good job that you've been doing. And it's great hearing your names and seeing your faces and knowing that you're still out there contributing to the county and the people that enjoy the parks. Thank you.
And I'd like to add congratulations to everyone and thank you all for your years of service and commitment to the Washoe County Parks operations. Colleen, it was great for you to share a little bit about everyone and their accomplishments, and it's exciting that you guys have accomplished that much, so thank you. You bet.
Yeah, it's Chris Denzel. I just want to say that it sounds like a few people anyway found the job they love, and that's a rare thing today. So my compliments for that.
All right, thank you. Okay, we will go ahead and move on to item 7, Eagle Scout presentation. Do we have any today?
My apologies. Sorry, no Eagle Scout presentations today.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Let's go on to item 8, presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to approve an easement deed granting Oh, hold on. Let me minimize this. Sorry, I had my agenda. Okay. Granting an easement to NV Energy on APN 038-112-09 in Verdi, Nevada, for the placement of an underground anchor to support the relocation of an existing power pole above the Truckee River ordinary high water mark.
Good afternoon, Chair Chen, Commissioners. This is Sophia Kirschenman, Park Planner with Washoe County Planning for the record. Can everybody hear me and see the presentation? Okay, excellent. So this is a really straightforward parkland easement request. I put together just a couple of quick slides to illustrate the proposal. So the request is to grant an approximately 47 square foot easement to NV Energy. And this would support a maintenance project to relocate an existing power line pole. The Washoe County parcel in question is shown here in the bottom right-hand corner or southeast corner of this map. It's about 1/10 of an acre. And you'll notice that to the west, shown in green, are our existing Riverbend open space properties. I just wanted to show the proximity of this parcel to some of our other park properties to get a sort of a sense of where it's located. But back to the request, as I mentioned, NV Energy would like to move their existing power line pole above the Truckee River's ordinary high water mark. The existing pole is circled here in yellow, and they will need to move it up the river bank to essentially get it out of the path of the Truckee River. The new pole location would be just outside of the park property. However, due to the slope of that hill, they would need to place an anchor underground to stabilize the pole, and that anchor would extend onto the park property. Thus, they are requesting the subject easement. After evaluating the proposal, staff has concluded that impacts related to the easement would be minor. This is a really small easement on a small park property, and the anchor and the infrastructure would primarily be underground. Additionally, the easement is consistent with the parkland easement policy, as it is complementary with any existing and planned uses, and it would serve a public benefit. Staff is recommending that the Park Commission recommend approval of the easement to the Board of County Commissioners. Here is a possible motion. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. We also have Brandy Qualieri, who is on the line from NV Energy, if you have any questions for her.
Thank you, Sophia. Do we have any questions? See some head nodding. Okay. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion. Doug Doolittle. Move to recommend that the Board of County Commissioners approve an easement deed granting an easement totaling plus or minus 47 square feet to NV Energy on APN 038-11209 in Verdi, Nevada, for the placement of an underground anchor to support the relocation of an existing power pole above the Truckee River ordinary high water mark.
Greg Short,
Chris
second.
Enzel.
Okay, thank you, Doug, Commissioner Shorts, maybe Commissioner Nenzel. I heard a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes. All right. We'll go ahead and move on to item 9, program Park of the Month. And we have Mr. Carlos from the May Arboretum.
Hello, my name is Bill Carlos for the record, and I'm here to make a presentation on the May Arboretum, or Washoe County's May Arboretum greenhouse. So what I will do is I'm going to go into my share and pull up that. Okay, can everybody see that? Okay, let me see. Okay, just a little bit of background. Washoe County's May Arboretum and Botanical Garden is a nationally accredited level 2 arboretum through the Morton Arboretum out of Leslie, Illinois. The greenhouse was dedicated in August of 2017. It's a 3,500 square foot greenhouse that it was called for in the 2002 Rancho San Rafael Regional Park Implementation Plan. The greenhouse itself, I work with Brett Steinhardt. We're able to get a greenhouse that is automatically heated and is cooled by a system called the Link4 Environmental Control System software. All of our staff has gone through training and know how to manage that system. There are about 8 temperature set points to cool and heat the greenhouse. Each day, I usually go up there and monitor the settings and the facilities as well. As you notice in this particular slide, there's a gravel floor. That was really tough on staff as well as our volunteers. So in 2019, I requested from the May Arboretum Society $37,700 to pour a new concrete floor. This has made it easier for us to work in, and it's easier to disinfect. So it was a nice addition to the greenhouse. In 2019, the Arboretum was in full production. Over 12,000 plants were propagated, many of them by seed, others were by plugs. A lot of our vegetables that we have, that we grow there, goes to our school program. The other plants were sold at the annual plant sale and used in the Arboretum. In addition to that, we propagated 200 ornamental grass plants that were grown for the North Valleys Regional Park. This past winter, about 192 milkweed plants were started from seed for Rancho San Rafael Regional Park Revegetation Project. We propagated Asclepia fascicularis, which is a narrow-leaf milkweed, and Asclepia speciosa, which is a showy milkweed. I'll be working with Joanne Loudon on getting these in the Arboretum and along our wetland area. And this is actually part of a national movement for the monarch butterfly conservation effort. Regarding the greenhouse and how we grow things, we want to move things in and out of that greenhouse as fast as we can. So to increase germination rates, we usually propagate all of our seeds in 128 cell flats, and we put them on heat mats and place them in our germination misting bench and chamber. So what we found and what we know from research is that seeds respond to warm soil temperatures, so they germinated relatively quickly. What would normally take some plants 14 to 18 days to germinate, using our heat mats and chamber, we were able to germinate all of these milkweed plants within about 5 days. They started coming through, and we had about a 99% germination rate. And that's because milkweed's easy to germinate, not because I'm a great horticulturalist. But other native plant species may even take longer, and you often won't get 99% germination. Some of them only 30%. But as part of our operation, each tray or plant is labeled and dated with its scientific botanical name and common name. Plants are inventoried. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I enter everything in. I enter the germination date. We track the quantity, how much was grown, and also the seed source as well. After all these seedlings started to germinate and they set 2 sets of true leaves, the seedlings are then pushed up into 4-inch pots. The milkweed crop that we, currently our milkweed crop was transplanted into quart containers, and we are scheduled to plant those this fall. Right now, we've propagated over 3,000 plants, and so far, most of them were from seed. Many were grown for our Washoe County School Seedling Program. Due to COVID, the annual plant sale that we normally would have in partnership with the May Arboretum Society was canceled. We did propagate over 400 vegetable plants for the Washoe County Employee Garden. There it is. To my right is the garden. It was planted in April of 2020. I want to thank Colleen for getting this garden off the ground, as well as Phil for assisting with the irrigation. And also many thanks to the green team as well to make this happen. While growing and scheduling vegetables, we also schedule annual flower production for the Arboretum as well as for parks. This photo shows marigold seedling plugs that are pushed up into 4-inch pots. We also propagated alyssum, a flowering annual that was planted by seed this year to showcase certain gardens. And using our germination methods, we're able to germinate alyssum within 2 days. Typically, it'll take 5 to 10. The plants were then pushed up into 4-inch pots. They started blooming early, like in March, and we're ready to plant these outside. So the advantage of growing a lot of these plants indoors is that we can get a jump on our spring planting. We save money. We don't have to buy them from a nursery, and allows us to keep our own inventory. So we can circulate all of our plants all the time. Most box stores or nurseries at this time won't have annuals in stocks until later in the season. This year, we helped the May Arboretum Society propagate about 875 lavender plugs. They were shipped to the greenhouse. As soon as they got here, we pushed them up into 4-inch pots and then into quarts. The plants were allowed to grow for about 8 weeks before being sold, and all those proceeds help benefit the May Arboretum. Before COVID-19, the May Arboretum relied on volunteers to assist at the greenhouse. We have a very robust volunteer program. Unfortunately, they weren't allowed to help us out this year, so to transplant and hand water if needed. So we do that with staff right now. We do daily monitoring, either by me or by staff. This is what our schedule looks like, and these are very common plants that we propagate. However, we do experiment with other ones, but typically right around January, we start looking at propagating vegetables. We start the ordering process, and then plants that handle cool season weather, such as violas and pansies, are then propagated to go out early in spring. And then late spring, early summer, we start with sweet alyssum, black-eyed Susan. In summertime, mixed marigolds, asters, and we get into fall with flowering kale and chrysanthemum. And then we have a bunch of other varieties that we plant as well. So that's kind of the schedule right now. What we would like to do would be able to even start a plant conservation program to help out other organizations such as BLM, NDF, to establish rare or threatened endangered plant species and start them in our greenhouse and grow them ex situ, which means outside in the Arboretum, to establish a seed source for these rare native plants, Nevada plants. So that's really it for the greenhouse. It's been a real bonus for our operation to be able to do the things that we can do and help out the community as well as employees, in addition to saving money and costs in plants for the Arboretum as well as the Parks Department. If anybody has any questions, so feel free to answer them.
I just want to say thank you, Bill, for your presentation. It's great to learn more about the greenhouse. You and your team are really doing tremendous work. I also want to add that I had the pleasure of working with Bill during the installation of the employee county garden in the courtyard, and truly appreciated the collaboration to help us get the garden up and running. So it's been great to work with you, Bill, and see all the accomplishments the Arboretum's been able to produce.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
If I could, Bill, very impressive presentation. I mean, really great presentation, and not just the presentation, but the facility is super. It's so impressive. Going back years to all the planning that went into it, you were instrumental in that, and I really appreciate everything that you've done, that Phil's done, that now I guess Braden's working up there. It's absolutely wonderful that you can provide this to the community. Unfortunately, with the COVID-19 going on, you can't do as much as you'd like to do, but I know the volunteers over the years have been outstanding. And I also like to recognize Wilbur D. May Foundation for all the monetary support that they've provided and all the moral support too. So thank you very much. I'd really like to get up there and do a tour with you soon, if that's allowed.
Yeah, absolutely, Doug. Love to have you come up and show you all the changes that's happening at the Arboretum.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Bill. Okay. We will go ahead and move on to item 10, Parks Reports.
I didn't have anything to highlight. Sorry, for the record, Colleen Wallace Barnum, Park Operations Superintendent. I didn't have any highlights. I certainly can answer any questions if anybody has any for the park reports. We're just plugging away. I think I gave, kind of a more detailed report last meeting. So if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Colleen, if I may, Doug Doolittle. I wasn't here for the last meeting. Sorry about that. How's the with COVID-19? How's the public facilities like the campgrounds and a museum and handling it? Are they doing well?
We are doing well. I will say the campground is extremely busy. It's one of the few, places of respite, I think, for people in the local area. So it's been very busy. The museum did do a small exhibit it was one of the few Art Town exhibits that was done. And we had just reopened at the end of June. And from the staff, Samantha and Christy let me know that it was steady. It wasn't busy. Everybody was doing a really good job with compliance. Obviously, our indoor facilities were requiring face coverings, and everybody has been doing really well with that. Indoor facilities, most of our reservations, just based on our group size, we can't accommodate more than 25 people for social gatherings. Most groups are either canceling or rescheduling. Very few are reducing their numbers to 25. So really, camping and some of those other outdoor activities, certainly using the parks and hiking and, use in the parks is still very, very steady and lots of people. Probably since school started, maybe we've seen a little less visitation, but it's still pretty busy in our parks, especially on our nice days without the smoke. I mean, it's been busy.
With this very unusual summer that we're going through, have you noticed an increase or decrease in graffiti, vandalism, things of that nature?
Yes, lots. Yes. Golden Eagle, our trailhead over there, got 3 times top to bottom in 6 days. So every other day we're doing a report, and they did do, I don't know if anybody noticed in the news, but they did arrest some people out there. There were some adults and 1 youth that were arrested. I think it was last week, which was nice to see that at least we'll hope that it curbs it, but we have seen so much more graffiti. We do see it pop up from time to time, but it's been worse this year.
Well, I think due to the fact that you don't have as many people in the parks with those extra sets of eyes, it's bound to happen. So thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Colleen. Commissioners, do we have any other questions for park reports?
Yeah, I have a quick question about Colleen, the Portland Loo. That's exciting that looks like got it installed. Have you heard anything about how it's being used or any update on that? I know it's only been maybe a couple weeks, but
I haven't heard. I went to the ribbon cutting. I'd never been to a ribbon cutting for a bathroom, but it was exciting. It was quite a really big lift for a lot of the different partnering agencies. The ribbon cutting was well done. One Truckee River, Iris, and then, a lot of the Reno City Council folks were there and spoke. I have not heard how it's going. It sounds like it's planned pretty well. And if you haven't gotten a chance to see it, it's just right outside of Broadhead Park. And it's right along the bus route. So it looks really sturdy. And I think it's going to be easy to clean and hopefully easy to maintain. And it's actually a flush toilet. So it's hooked into sewer. So there's some benefits there. And that's one of the benefits of the Portland Loo. So anyway, it's great that we actually got that project up and running. We're hoping to get, if that's a success, maybe a few more along the river.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to item 11, Director's Report.
Good afternoon. For the record, Dave Solero, Director of the Community Services Department, Assistant County Manager. Not a lot to report today. I do have a couple of announcements. We had spoken at the last meeting regarding a workshop for this group to start talking budget. It looks like Friday at 1 p.m., September 25th is the date. So I will ask Kathy to send out invites for everybody on that. That was the date that we could get the most commissioners together. Looks like we'll have 6 commissioners in attendance, so I think that'll be really good. Get some good information to some of you newer commissioners, let's say. So that'll be really good. The only other update I've got is that our golf course operators, I fully expect to start getting in some unsolicited proposals from them. Currently our existing license agreements all expire in June, the end of June 2021. And so I know that the golf operators have called me up and said, hey, are you going to put this out? What are you going to do? I mentioned to them that it seems like things are running fairly smooth right now with our golf courses, and because both of them, our 2 current operators, have a lot of different ideas on how to move into the future with golf courses. So I've asked them to go ahead and provide a proposal if they'd like to do something a little bit different there. So I fully expect to be able to get some of those proposals at least forward to this commission for your review and input in the December or January timeframe. So I think that'll be good to have some input from all of you, kind of the future of golf based on these proposals that I'm expecting to get from the operators. So with that, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Sorry, Dave. Doug Doolittle. I have to be down dealing with some other stuff on the 25th, so I won't be available. Is there any chance that I can meet with you or Eric or Colleen or all 3 of you with some ideas that I have on the workshop in budgets?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Commissioner Doolittle. That would be great. Maybe if you could send either myself, Colleen, or Eric a few dates that you're available. We'd love to set aside some time and get those ideas from you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
This is Commissioner Shorts. I just want to say I noticed the Frisbee golf baskets going up over here at the county golf course. So I dropped by there and asked them about the course that they're putting in there. And it looks like it's going to be an interesting course, and I'll be interested to see how that works in conjunction with golf balls flying this way and that. But so anyway, that looks like that's going to be a nice little addition that we're going to have going in.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Commissioner Shorts. That was one of the items, as you'll recall, when the Washoe Golf operator came to talk with you all earlier, related kind of their operations. That was one of the things they touched on. I think it's going to be a good addition to that property and allow a little bit different use. Get some people out there to see see the golf property, traditional non-golfers, so to speak. And I've been told that it will not interfere with the game of golf, so that's always a positive.
You haven't seen me throw.
Any other questions for Mr. Solero? Okay, thank you for the updates.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move on to item 12, Commissioners' comments.
Doug Doolittle again. My only comment is I'm sorry I won't be here for the 25th. I'd really like to be, but I'll I'll try to meet with staff to give some of my thoughts for that meeting, but other than that, I have no other comments.
Thank you, Doug. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 13, public comments.
We have no public comment.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. All right, item 14, adjournment. Thank you everyone for joining us via Zoom, and Doug and Darla for getting together in the chambers, and we'll see everyone next month. Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 3:10 p.m.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.